Hello everyone! We've defended Ardenweald and dealt with the Night Warrior. We've uncovered the Dreadlord infiltration in Revendreth and recruited the Stone Wraiths. We brought justice for Maldraxxus, and Draka is a new Margrave. Only one more zone to cover. One more covenant to help out. The Kyrian within Bastion.
The Mournblade tore a fragment from Uther's soul. Without it, I fear he may never heal.
I have seen a vision of where such vessels are kept, but retrieving it will prove perilous. The jailer keeps his treasures well guarded.
Uther's soul being ripped apart. It's a big catalyst for the story that went down in this zone. The wound inflicted upon his soul. It revealed the devils that their path is flawed, and she took it up with their Archon.
The runes on his blade were unmistakable. This dark agent runs free on a mortal world with the power of the Maw itself in hand. Our realm is imperiled.
Impossible. The Maw is inescapable. You must return to the path.
If he had purged his life, we never would have known of this calamity. The path is flawed.
Enough!
The order of the Shadowlands depends on the execution of our eternal charge. You will abandon this course.
As you command, my Archon.
Their Archon refused to listen, and so devils did their own thing, elevated Uther before his time.
I see. Only darkness before me.
Now, cast him into the Maw. Return him to the darkness he served. His eternal suffering awaits.
He was my student.
Remember what he did, and take your vengeance.
Not vengeance. Justice.
Now we don't know exactly when devils got in touch with the jailer. I imagine that it was sometime around dropping Arthas in there, but she did explain a bit more about their motivation to join his side.
Listen to reason, devils. The Kyrian must stand united.
Not so long as you command them. The Forsworn will forge a new path for Bastion. For eons, we have been told to purify ourselves, to let go of our memories, our identities, our loved ones, all in the name of service. But what do we serve? An impotent arbiter, an oppressive law. Our sacrifices were made for nothing.
We sacrifice because we must. Mortal burdens would only impede our sacred duty.
No, it was a mortal who exposed the folly of your edicts. As I peered into Uther's memories, what I saw shook me to the core. But you refused to see the truth. That the path is flawed. That we serve a lie. And so, I listened to the jailer's words. I learned of the great injustice you and the others thrust upon him, and upon us all. He seeks to free us from the prison we have built for ourselves. And for that, he has earned my loyalty.
Like Sylvanas, she somehow was convinced by the jailer that he was going to be the one to set them all free. There are fair points on both sides, which makes the Kyrian Forsworn story interesting, at least in my opinion. Why exactly does the Shadowlands function the way that it does? And if they don't sacrifice their memories, would they simply end up with a whole bunch of Uthers that, instead of just ferrying the souls for judgments, would make their own calls and what to do with a soul? It was an interesting dialogue and an interesting storyline being built up. Now, unfortunately, Devils and Lysonia, they've already been dealt with during the Kyrian campaign. Uther and many more of them came to realize that they were actually allied to the powers of the Maw, which wasn't known by all and a step too far for some. We saved fallen Nicolon and a bunch of the other Forsworn. They were being forced into the jailer's ranks, but a new path is going to be needed for Bastion. First place to start with that is healing Uther's soul. Bolvar has seen visions of a vault that's hidden deep within Torghast, where the jailer keeps the souls that he deems valuable. Apparently, when a Mournblade is wielded with rage, it can then shatter a soul into fragments. Now we knew that Frostmourne had soul-sucking abilities. We knew that Arthas gave up a piece of his soul in order to wield the blade, but this fracturing, it's somewhat new. Being struck down in rage did not just happen to Uther either. In the chamber, we see many different souls that we just leave behind and we don't really care about. Valerian made a tweet back during the PTR times, connecting the names to their description. We've got the Golden King, which presumably is Anasterian Sunstrider, the Holy Lifebringer being Halak the Lifebringer, the Grand Magister, Bellover Salonar, the Blood Queen, which is Lanafel, the Archmage's Mentor, Antonidas, the Champion of Peace, Gavarat the Dire, the Guardian of Naxxramas, Sephiron, and the Betrayed Father, Taranis Menethil II. But we're just here for Uther's soul, the remnant of justice, which we return to the Temple of Wisdom.
Without a paragon of loyalty, we cannot forge a new sigil.
Many Forsworn yet occupy the temple. How are we to proceed?
Through compromise and understanding. I may be of aid in that regard. If my soul can be mended, then so too can the rift with the Forsworn.
Be warned, Uther. We have never attempted anything of this nature before.
I will endure whatever I must to be whole again. I cannot...
The shard! It is too much! He is being overwhelmed!
We must help him! Friends, aid me!
Uther, hold strong. Allow your memories to flow through you.
Uther is overburdened, consumed by his memories that are twisted by Frostmourne and the Maw. In order to move past his pain, to move past his grief, he will have to experience his past once again. But he's not going to do this alone. We must help him see past the distortions and understand the truth that they hold, to come to grips with the emotions they contain.
This is Alonsus Chapel in Stratholme. The day I became the first of the Paladins.
Come, Uther. Take your spot so that we may begin.
Tyrion Fordring, Gavarat the Dire, Turellian, and Zayden Dafrohan, the first that joined the Knights of the Silver Hand. Paladins that were added to the ranks of the Alliance of Lordaeron in their war against the Hordes. They were inducted by Archbishop Alonsus Fowl, and in this moment, he's still very much alive.
In the light we gather. In its grace, our brother will be born anew. Uther, do you vow to uphold the tenets of the Holy Light?
I do.
What are these tenets?
The three virtues. Respect, tenacity, and then... compassion. Seeing beyond our differences. Understanding our similarities. Feeling for those who suffer. Even if... Oh, Arthas.
Wait. What is that? In the corner?
This entire city must be purged.
How can you even consider that?
His memories are twisting together. We must help him.
No, Clea. He must face this on his own.
Damn it, Uther. As your future king, I order you to purge this city.
You are not my king yet, boy. Nor would I obey that command even if you were.
Then I must consider this an act of treason.
Treason? Have you lost your mind, Arthas? These memories, they are not one and the same.
Do you vow to walk in the light and spread its wisdom?
Your grief and regret haunt you still, as does Arthas.
Do you vow to vanquish evil and protect the weak and innocent?
I do.
Arise, Uther, as a paladin of Lordaeron, first of the Order of the Silver Hand.
Find your purity.
We are here for you, Uther. Do not despair.
The light. Arthas. What have I done? Feeling nervous, Arthas? This is the day Arthas became a paladin. I remember it well.
Honestly, yes. I see your devotion to the light and feel doubt cloud my heart. You've taught me so much, Uther, but I sometimes wonder if I'm truly meant to walk this path.
Great expectations await you, lad. I have faith that you will exceed them all. But for now, let's spar. That should clear your mind.
It always does.
No. I should have listened to him. Why didn't I listen?
You sought to comfort a troubled student. None can fault you for such an act.
Tell that to all of the innocents he slaughtered. I set him on that path.
You guided him on the path of justice. He is the one who strayed from it.
May the light forgive me.
Uther is reflecting on a way that he dealt with Arthas, as his students slowly but surely fell into darkness. The man that he once was, upholding the virtues, compared to the man that he was in this moment, dealing with Arthas. The ghosts of the past surround them, guilt for what has happened, but there is one more moment to cover.
The Forsworn must be
Does it
stopped.
still hurt?
It does. Perhaps it always will.
What is this place?
This is the moment of your death, isn't it?
He came for the urn. The one that held the ashes of the father he slew.
Why this memory, Uther? Why linger here?
In that moment, I failed him. I did not uphold the virtues. Compassion, least of all. My heart had never been so cold. I faced him, not as a mentor, or even a friend, but as a bitter foe.
Perhaps. But confronting this memory has taught you the value of compassion more than any scripture ever could. Take that lesson to heart, Uther. The past may be immutable, but the future has yet to be written.
I will. Arthas, if only I had tried to save you.
When we saw this on the PTR, some thought that the idea behind this was to place blame away from Arthas, that we should forgive him for all that he had done, and that if Uther had done something differently, that Arthas might never have become the Lich King. Now, I personally don't think that that is the intention behind this story. Rather, I think it relates to the story from Folks and Fairy Tales that we covered last Monday, which is called The Paladin's Beast. The moral of the story was that if Uther confronted the beast with weapon in hands, he was surely going to die. But when he approached it with respect, tenacity, and, most importantly, compassion, the beast surrendered, and victory was earned without ever striking a blow. Can we understand the way that Uther reacted to Arthas, the student that had burned down the kingdom, murdered his own father, and now tried to take the ashes away from him? Yeah, of course we can understand it. And would things have been differently if Uther had acted differently? Probably not. But even to this day, people still discuss the Purge of Stratholme and what else could have been done there. Regardless, to Uther, it's all about how he approached this situation. How he stood there, not as a friend, or a mentor, or a paladin with virtues in his heart. He approached Arthas as a beast, purely as his enemy. And while again, the outcome, it would have probably been the same, Uther's mindset, Uther's soul would not be. At least, that's my take on it.
Face me, Uther, and I'll make sure you die quickly.
I dearly hope there's a special place in hell waiting for you, Arthas. No! I spoke in anger.
We may never know, Uther. I intend to live forever.
Wisdom guide
Uther,
your path.
If these memories pain you so, you can be rid of them in time.
No. They serve as a reminder of lessons learned. Given the choice, I would never let them go.
If given the choice...
Adrestes, we must speak. The Forsworn never sought war. But our own brethren cast us out and refused to listen.
I see that now, and I truly apologize. Uther has taught me much this day. Bastion must follow a new path.
Nicolon, please accompany us. We must find a way to reunify our people.
Bastion needs to reforge its path, its purpose. Nicolon says that the anger, the animosity, we must put them aside. The Forsworn deserve to be listened to be respected, as do the Kyrian.
All 5 paragons are needed for our Covenant sigil to be reforged. Upon this day, we shall name a new paragon of loyalty.
My Archon, loyalty bereft of compassion fractured the very heart of the Kyrian. Perhaps what we need is not loyalty, but devotion to our cause, to each other.
And to the souls we usher into the Shadowlands.
When Devos turned against us, I met her with spear in hand. There was truth in her words, but I did not listen. Let us learn from Uther's example. Henceforth, all Kyrian shall be offered a choice: to keep their memories, or to let them go. Adrestes, I anoint you paragon of devotion. And Clea, you shall serve as his hand.
Me? Forgive me, my Archon, but
Your devotion to our sacred charge has never faltered. None are more deserving of this honor than you.
Thank you, my Archon. We go in service.
We all serve.
Not only must we reclaim the temple, but we must implore the remaining Forsworn to join our cause.
You shall have our support. I will gather my allies and meet you at Steward's Rest.
join us at the Vesper when you are ready. Good luck, friends.
Nicolon, I apologize for leading you off the path. Had I not, you might never have joined the Forsworn.
My faith in the Archon had already faltered. You only helped me accept the truth.
Nevertheless, you suffered greatly because of my actions. I will not allow that to happen again.
The idea of rededicating one of the temples, it's never been broached before, and will no doubt require a significant amount of anima. Underneath this temple are stores of anima that they rationed for the drought, which we can redirect and repurpose. We also grab the cores out of the Forsworn Centurions, so should Adrestes need a bit of a boost, we can give it to him. And then we try to convince as many of the Forsworn that there's a new path available. Some of them are willing to give the Archon another chance, while others would rather die than return.
Uther and I shall aid Adrestes. The rest of you, stand strong.
My fellow Kyrian, I come to you with a message of compassion. Your plight has been heard, your suffering recognized. We ask not for your loyalty, but we offer a choice. None shall be forced to sacrifice their memories. Your decision will be respected by all Kyrian.
Arswan the Cage shows up, proclaiming that the Forsworn belong to Helya and to the Maw. No Kyrian shall take them from us. But at this point in time, we've already banished Helya back to Helheim, so I guess not everybody got that memo. Speaking of trying to put this in a timeline compared to Sanctum of Domination, I'm not entirely sure. I didn't find a specific clue as to when exactly this takes place. I'm imagining that all of the campaigns are taking place before the raid, and then the final one, the one that's called What Comes Next, that one takes place after the raid. But that's my own interpretation.
Let us stand united once more, not out of loyalty, but devotion. A new path for Bastion begins.
Loyalty shall no longer be a demanded tenet of the path, but rather a virtue that is earned, a choice. We must show devotion to those who struggle, whether they are recently arrived souls or peers who need our aid. This temple represents a new dawn for Bastion, to forge a future of which all can be proud. Now I do wonder how that's exactly going to work, because no longer will it be required to give up your memories. This is now going to be a choice. But going back to the rather interesting dilemma of the path, being forced to sacrifice who you were, although it sucks, it did have a purpose. As they've shown with Uther, if you need to ferry a soul, it needs to be done without judgment. Otherwise, who knows where they might end up, who knows what choices might be made. A very easy solution, I suppose, would simply be to give the job of ferrying souls only to those that are willing to take up the charge, to sacrifice what they once knew. And now that having memories is no longer a problem, I do wonder, is Alexandros gonna be allowed to swap covenants?
The Arbiter saw that your memories are not a burden, but your source of strength. That is why you belong in Maldraxxus.
I see that now. Honor may have forsaken Maldraxxus, but together we will restore what has been lost.
Many ages have passed since a paragon was last anointed. Longer still, since we have christened a new temple. Today, we do both. Adrestes, step forward. Through trying times, you have embodied patience and compassion. Virtues that will serve you well as paragon of devotion. Five temples, 5 paragons. Take your place among us, Adrestes, as we reforge our Covenant's sigil. A symbol of our new path forward. One born of unity between Kyrian and Forsworn alike.
Fantastic. Bastion has the new sigil and new purpose, and we get to talk to a whole bunch of the Kyrian and the Forsworn that we met along the way. The most interesting conversation for me, that was with the now Polemarch Celestine. She says, I devoted myself to overseeing and advising aspirants long ago. I was not the only one at first, but as the drought persisted, my peers were needed elsewhere, until I was the only one left. My orders were to keep the aspirants training, to bide our time until the drought passed. I was not to tell them that every single soul was sent straight to the maw, that the Shadowlands had broken down. I told them what I could, but I was alone and had to keep myself calm. For my hard work to be first recognized via my inclusion of the Path of Ascension, and now again as the new polar marker Bastion, I recognize no higher honor. Thank you, Mawwalker. And I'm sorry that we got off on the wrong foot, which hits a major plot point that, in my opinion, needs to be explained further. She tells us that some amongst the Kyrians, that she was given orders not to talk about it, that they were aware of the maw directly sucking in all these souls, empowering the jailer and causing all of these problems. We know that at some point during Legion, something shut down the Arbiter. We don't know exactly what it was. I personally think that it was the Nephrius, potentially using Kilfus, but regardless of what it was, something has shut down the Arbiter. All the souls are going down the drain. It's a big problem, right? No way that we can stop the jailer now from getting his hands on all these souls and growing in power. Except, souls don't automatically go into the Shadowlands. They're carried there by the Kyrian, who, as we've seen with Clea, they were shocked and surprised to find out that they were all just going straight into the maw. Poor Ben is still lost to us, so we've been working really hard at trying to stop the jailer. Why didn't they simply stop supplying him with power? Why didn't they just drop their work, stop shipping these souls into the Shadowlands? I think that this needs a bit more explanation, as there are spins that you can give to it. They mumble about purpose and path as you walk through Oribos. Perhaps something about the cosmic system breaking down entirely in case they refuse to ferry these souls. Just a little something more besides, yeah, we just keep doing this because of reasons, because of, that's what we've always been doing. I think that would be rather nice.
Wisdom
Uther,
guide your path.
Pardon my asking, but what fate befell Arthas in the end?
At the moment of his death, Devos and I claimed his soul and cast it into the maw.
Without the Arbiter's knowledge? So, he might yet have had a chance at redemption?
I will never know. It was not my choice to make. Devos led me down a dark path.
Now that I have seen the maw for myself, I cannot say that any soul deserves such torment. Perhaps some can never be forgiven, but you have shown me that they must be treated with compassion.
That's another mystery still to be solved. What happened to Arthas' soul? We've seen at the end of Sanctum of Domination that the jailer, he picks up a gem and he uses it to restore Sylvanas' soul. A gem that looks similar to the one that was also used to infuse Kingsmorn. We've pretty much covered all of the maw that there is, and there's no sign of Arthas. Is it possible that his soul has been infused into the blade? And if so, for what reason?
Curestia was ever the most unwavering of us all. The Archon's willingness to embrace a new path demonstrates her devotion to the Kyrian. I have called upon the Covenants to bear their sigils here to Korthia. The key to our victory lies within them, and in you, Mawwalker.
Curious, since the Primus mentioned earlier that these new sigils would give us the opportunity to follow Zovaal. Say that this does take place after the raid, then perhaps next week, by using our super duper real Mawwalker powers, combined with the sigils, we might be able to open up a path to wherever Zovaal has gone. Then again, he did have one sigil that we do not. The one that he claimed from the Arbiter, which was his final key. Can't wait to see what the next chapter holds, as it's not even been available for PTR testing quite yet, but that's going to be for next week. For now, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and until next time, see ya!